Hello students, today we will discuss the development process of small volume parenteral. So in this video we will discuss the drug properties, then solubility consideration, then stability consideration and some formulation issues. Okay, so before start the discussion on the development process of the small volume parental, let's say what are the different excipients and their usual concentration generally used in a formulation of a small volume parental. So in a previous lecture we were discussed already uh, the importance and significance of some excipients and the vehicle and some types of water which is used in a formulation of a parental dosage form. See, the oil or the oily vehicle must be vegetable in origin, for example, sesame, olive or cottonseed oil, and say with the product USP and the name of oil. For example, means a USP product, that is the name of product which is available in the market, ampicillin, a suspension. Ampicillin, this injection is available in the form of a suspension because of the solubility. We will discuss later on in a development process. Means with the product characteristics, then solubility concentration, the stability concentration and the formulation issues, we can develop a optimized or efficient and qualitative a either a solution, means parental solution, or a suspension. Okay, so ampicillin, the suspension, and vegetable oil is used. Okay, then a diethyl stilbestrol, the sesame cotton oil is used. Epinephrine is again available in a suspension. Sesame oil is used. Penicillin G procaine, okay, vegetable oil. So these are the some the oils, okay, vegetable, sesame, then cotton, vegetable oil is used in a different a product which is listed in a USP. Now see the importance and some examples of a co-solvent used in a parental a suspension or parental injection. So the co-solvents are used to increase the stability of poorly soluble a drug in a water and prevent a chemical degradation by the hydrolysis. No doubt the importance and the use of the co-solvent is to increase the stability of poorly water soluble a drug. So this is the important. Okay, means under the stability consideration, the formulator must study the aqueous and means aqueous water solubility of that particular drug. Once the solubility consideration completed, the formulator can decide so which means there is a need to add the co-solvent in a preparation or not. Okay, so the solubility consideration again the important. The example of a co-solvent are the propylene glycol or in a combination with ethanol and a polyethylene a glycol. Okay, so these are the some example of a co-solvent used in a parental suspension or parental a product. Now, the ingredient or the added substances, for example, antimicrobial preservatives. So, maintain the stability of the product during the storage. Phenyl mercuric nitrate 0.5 to 10%, phenol or cresol 0.5%, and chlorobutanol a 0.5%. So these are the some examples of antimicrobial agent generally used to maintain the stability of the product during its shelf life or during the storage. Okay, then some buffering agents to be added to maintain the pH, result in stability of a drug against the hydrolytic degradation or enhance the solubility of a drug in a solution. Okay, so these are the some uses and some examples of antimicrobial preservatives and the buffering agent. Some common buffer used in a small volume parenteral with their usual concentration, let's say with their pH range. pH 3.5 to 5.7, and the buffer system is acetic acid acetate, and the usual concentration is a 0.822. Okay, acetic acid of the acetate with usual concentration a 0.22, and the pH range will be a 3.5 to a 5.7. Then a citric acid, okay, citric acid pH range is a 2.5 to 6, and the concentration is a 0.5, remember 0.5, and a pH range is a 2.5 to a 6, citric acid. Then phosphoric acid pH range is a 6 to 8.2, and a 0.8 to a 2%, their usual concentration. Glutamic acid again 8.2 to 10. Okay, this is the pH range and usual concentration 1 to a 2%. So this is a usual concentration of some buffer system with their a pH range. Let's see the some examples of antioxidant which is used in a small volume parenteral preparation. Antioxidant functions by preferentially with a molecular oxygen and minimizing or terminating the free radical autooxidation reaction to prevent the autooxidation reaction. For example, see the reducing agent, the examples are ascorbic acids with their 0.02 to 0.1%, and the sodium bisulfite range is 0.1 to 0.15%, thiourea 0.005%. So these are the some examples of the reducing agents. Okay, blocking agents examples are the ascorbic acid ester, usual concentration range is 0.01 to 0.015%, and tocopherol 0.05 to 0.075%. So these are the some the examples of blocking agent, reducing agents of means it acts as an antioxidant in a small volume parenteral. So let's see the examples of the tonicity modifier or tonicity agents, also called as the tonicity adjusters. For example, sodium chloride with the 0.9%, as you know that the 0.9% weight by volume sodium chloride is isotonic with the blood plasma. Okay, then non-electrolyte glucose mannitol, okay, also used with their usual concentration range which is specified in USP. Some solutions are isoosmotic but not isotonic. This is because of the physiology of the cell membrane must be considered. And for example, the cell membrane of the RBC is not semi-permeable to all the drug, and it allows the ammonium chloride, alcohol, boric acid, glycerin, propylene glycol, and urea to diffuse freely. And in the eye, the cell membrane is a semi-permeable to boric acid, and a 2% solution is an isotonic with the ophthalmic solution. And the tonicity can be measured by an instrument called as the osmometer. Other ingredient used in a small volume parenterals are the bulking agent for a freeze dried preparation. Okay, bulking agent for freeze dried preparation, solid, mannitol, lactose, sucrose, and dextrose. Okay, so these are the example of bulking agent, or also called as diluent. Suspending agent, carboxymethyl cellulose, cellulose derivatives, sorbitols can used to increase means as a suspending agent in a parenteral suspension, depot parenteral suspension, emulsifying agent, lecithin, polysorbate 80, ophthalmic ointment bases, petrolatum. Okay, so these are the some examples of other ingredient or excipient used in a parenteral, a small volume parenteral. See some important component with their examples and a usual concentration at a glance. The first component is antimicrobial preservatives. Example are benzoalkylenium chloride, benzyl alcohol. Okay, and the usual concentration is a 0.01% and 1 to 2% respectively. BKC at 0.01% and benzyl alcohol 1 to 2% as antimicrobial preservative. Then antioxidant, water soluble antioxidant, sulfurous and ascorbic acid. Okay, 0.1 to 0.2% and thiol derivatives at 0.1%. Water insoluble antioxidant, propyl gallate, BHT and BHA with a 0.1% respect 0.1% and 0.1% respectively. Buffers, acetate buffer, citric buffer, phosphate buffer, glutamate buffer, pH 3 to 6, 6 to 8 and 8 to 10 respectively. Then tonicity, electrolyte, sodium chloride 0.5 to 0.9% weight by volume, and non-electrolyte dextrose a 4 to a 5%. Next is surfactant polyoxyethylene, a twin and sorbitan monooliate spans. Okay, 0.1 to 0.5% and 0.05 to 0.25% respectively. Chelating agent disodium EDTA 0.01% to 0.05%. Bulking agent lactose mannitol sorbitol at 1 to 8%. Okay, so this is at a glance the name of excipients with their examples and the usual concentration. Okay. Now, see the development process, the small volume injectable formulation development process. So, in this development process, we will discuss the drug properties, solubility consideration, stability consideration, and biological support with their biological consideration and manufacturing handling issues. So, let's see the drug property, how the drug property and the solubility consideration will help to in developing a efficient and safe and bioavailable stable parenteral dosage form. So, on the basis of physiological properties, on the basis of mode and the speed of action desired and the dose requirement. Okay, now here the formulator perform some studies such as, for example, water means aqueous solubility, and the formulator found, suppose the particular drug XYZ drug is a water soluble, okay, completely highly soluble in water. So no need to adjust the pH, no need to add or convert the drug in their salt form. Then there is no need to add some surfactant, co-solvent, some complexing agent, because these are the different chemical agents or different methods generally used to increase the solubility of a drug. Okay. So as you know, the dose requirement, how to calculate the doses of a drug for a conventional dosage form or for sustained release or modified drug deliveries. So see, for the calculation of a dosage for a modified drug delivery system, because here under the sterile formulation, definitely we'll discuss, we'll study the formulation of depot formulation, depot parenteral drug delivery system, means you can easily release or modify the release of a drug from a parenteral suspension also. So here the dosage calculation is again important. So dose of a drug for the modified drug delivery system or SR is equal to initial or loading dose plus the maintenance dose. So loading dose, initial dose or maintenance dose to be calculated on the basis of some pharmacokinetic data. Okay, to be calculated on the basis of clearance value, to be calculated on the basis of some misclearance constant, volume of distribution, etc., etc. Okay. Now the pH adjustment, salt formation, surfactant, the addition of surfactant, co-surfactant, co-solvent, complexing agent, for example, cyclodextrin, beta cyclodextrin, HP beta cyclodextrin nowadays widely used to increase the solubility as complexing agents. Suspension, emulsion, liposomes, okay, by using sphingophospholipid, cholesterol, nano suspension, that means the nano of medicines, such as the nanoparticle, nanosuspension, then carbon nanotube, dendrimer. So these are the some approaches of nanotechnology or nanomedicines. Okay, and non-aqueous oily vehicle, the use of non-aqueous or oily vehicle to increase the solubility of drugs. So that is what the solubility consideration. We have to study the thoroughly the solubility. Solubility means you should know about the each and everything about the solubility. Means is it highly soluble or sparingly soluble, slightly soluble, freely soluble, insoluble, or practically insoluble in water or any other solvents. Okay, so that is what the solubility consideration. Once you perform the means total stability consideration, so you can decide so which is the better way or good method, suitable method for the enhancement of solubility. Okay, after stability perform the stability consideration. So as we discussed, the buffer, the use of buffer, use of antioxidant, chelating agent and preservative, stability purpose. How to stabilize the parental dosage form? By using the buffer, by using the antioxidant, by using some chelating agent, by using the preservatives. Okay, so this agent is exclusively for the stability purposes. Okay, and suppose the formulator found the stability of a drug in a liquid. Okay, means particular drug is not stable in a liquid form, so there is a need to means modified or to formulate in another dosage form, such as the dry powder, lyophilizations or suspension. Okay, or a dry powder. Okay, so on the basis of a stability consideration, you can develop a effective, optimized and stable dosage form. Okay, such as the dry powder, lyophilized product, suspension. Means before the administration, we need to reconstitute or dilute the dry powder with provided water for injection or bacteriostatic water for injection. Then say the formulation support means a biological consideration and manufacturing handling issues. See, the biological consideration means the tonicity adjustment, the hemolysis, okay, hemolysis point, then precipitation about the injections, then pain on injection. So these are the some points to be considered under the formulation support. So we were already discussed in importance and the significance of sterility and tonicity in parental dosage form development. So the parental dosage form should be isotonic. Okay, the tonicity should be matches with the tonicity of a blood plasma. Okay, then manufacturing and handling issues, the compatibility studies with the diluent, container closure, IV administration sets, inline filter, manufacturing surfaces, metal and non-metal sterilization filter, the use time, stability, physiochemical and microbiological. So these are the some points considered under the manufacturing or the handling issue. So this is the overall process of means small volume parental formulation development. Drug property, solubility consideration, stability considerations, and the formulation supports with their biological consideration and manufacturing handling issues. Thank you very much.